Okay. Good morning, everybody. I assume that what you're seeing is actually the title page for the briefing package. Okay, good. All right. Well, welcome to week 2 of IT254, a 5-week deep dive into the importance of spreadsheets in the business world. The first week, I hope, was helpful to give you a basis by which to justify or understand what it is that they're about and how they're used and how some of the things have been done. We're going to go a little bit over some more pieces within this. The briefing package itself this week is shorter than normal, or maybe the shortest one I've set together for this class so far, but nonetheless, some of the questions that I've gotten so far is why this particular time slot? Because it's 5 a.m. on the Pacific Coast. It's 8 a.m. on the East Coast for most of the people. This class is actually made up mostly of people on the East Coast, as far as I can tell from the discussion boards. But nonetheless, because it works within my time for when I work, because I am generally in the office from about 7:30 Mountain Standard Time to about in the morning till about 6:30-ish Mountain Standard Time in the evening, Monday through Fridays. So that's why this is the best time slot for me, because some nights I will work later than that, some nights it's shorter than that. It's just easier to predict if I do this before I have to go in the office. So that's why it's better for me in this case, and I didn't want to burden people by their weekends, and we try not to at CTU to make that a habit, to not having live chats on weekends. Though I've had to have that as a student. That's had to happen before for one of my classes, but as a policy, we'd like to do it during the weekdays, and so this is the best time slot for myself, which is, I hope it works out well for most people there. Marissa's from Texas. I would say I think you might have been one of maybe the only person, or maybe one of two people from Texas, or even only about 3 or 4 people from the entire Central Time Zone in this class out of nearly 40. So, but nonetheless, well, I hope you're enjoying this class so far. So it is good. I would like to point out that you can work ahead in Telepath. I've had previous versions of this class where I've already had people on to in week 2 doing work from unit number 5 in Telepath already. So you certainly can work all the way ahead as much as you want to. So it's possible you could get this class effectively completed as fast as you want in order to make more time for you to work on harder classes that's also on your same schedule, right? So I also noticed that we went from about 45 down to about 37 as of yesterday, which is kind of disappointing, but not entirely unexpected either. Just it seems larger of a drop than I would have expected for a number of people. So, but my point being with the working ahead bit, right? So it is possible that if you wanted to spend, as other classes ramp up, and just bang out in Telepath within this class, you can quite literally get your grade pretty much set in stone in this class fairly quickly, long term. And since you can see how well you've done in a Telepath, you can work on filling in any of the bits and pieces that you need to in order to make it possible for that. So you can improve your class by going back and reworking on specific things within a Telepath, right? So you can actually go back. You spent, say, X amount of time in unit 3. You have these questions from these areas. Well, since in Telepath the way it works lets you redo certain work over and over and over. You can improve your class as you go. So yeah, week 2's primary activities is about data manipulation using the text functions, temporary columns and rows, defining and creating tables using subtotals, conditional formatting, and data manipulation, right? So these are the topics that will generally be covered in this week's lessons within Telepath and within the Muse website, which I will actually bring up this time. I forgot to do that week 1. Reminder of what's due now. I've graded all of Unit 1 as of this morning for everybody involved, minus the IntelliPath, only because IntelliPath doesn't let me yet submit the grades for scoring, but that will happen within the next day or two. You should be able to get some scores for that set up and seen within the grading system. This week's discussion board 2's topic is due. IntelliPath Unit 2 is due, as well as the this live chat or the summary for this live chat for people who take this or give me the summary for it afterwards, right? So, all right. So, in the discussion board, there is a tables video that is necessary. It's worth watching to help give you an idea of what it means to be for this discussion topic, right? So I should have verified that they didn't change this discussion topic on me real quick. So I should have checked that. Sorry. So the discussion topic is formatting cells. All right, so they did change this text on this discussion topic a little bit. So the formatting cells within the spreadsheet makes it more readable and easier to provide for better user experience. Now, things like formatting, that is, I think I showed you a brief bit of how you can add color, how you can add conditional formatting. These are some of the examples of conditional formattings where you can have a range of cells actually respond or change on its own based on the content within it. The ability to have different types of numerical formats within Excel is another type of formatting piece. The example being if you did like date, time, as an example, therefore you can then sort it and filter it by months within a year or years within a range. Or if you did it based on numbers for say dollars, you can base it on greater or less than certain budgetary limits. And you can add conditional formatting, so you can actually highlight those by automated coloration of cells as an example of that. So it's easy to point out where things are trending in a bad method. So for like business purposes, you can watch trends on inventory. So say you suddenly had a run on, go down grocery aisle example, right? So say you're running, you have your soda aisle and suddenly, or your real world example here, your toilet paper aisle, and then suddenly overnight, because of something changed in the world, everybody went and emptied all of your inventory on a particular item. You can have trending data so that instead of somebody every other day going out there just doing manual counts of information, you can have your scanner at the register itself record how trending of numbers go down within your piece, and then in say Excel, it can be extracting that data from the source sensors, which is the scanners, and you can have all right, we're hit a red zone on inventory on the shelf or inventory in your warehouse, so that you can use automated machine learning capabilities to have your system automatically start processing new requests to have shipped from warehouses to your local facility or to your local store, or having somebody be notified they need to go put more stock up on the shelf so that people continue to buy it, right? So you can have dynamic allocation of sensors to give you machine learning type stuff in order to help improve the performance of your business. So but that's an example, right? So within Excel, you can have it be in that source data, and you can give it yourself. So you can have, as a business manager, be able to do better management of your tracking of your inventory, or in the case of ordering, you can set up and prepare for budgeting, or saying you're running low or spending too much on one item. You can also watch trending of prices. Say you have different vendors, and their vendors data can be extracted and put into your Excel system as its source, and then you can figure out, oh, maybe I need to buy from vendor B because they suddenly dropped the price on some item by $3 an item per unit, whereas your normal vendor, they may have either kept the same price or increased it because of continuous demand. So you can also use sensor data like that in order to with conditional formatting inside of Excel to help your business actually manage and better improve both its performance and expenses. So that's just me rambling on about some things you can do. But going back to here, the original thing had this tables spreadsheet, which is a link that you can go look up on YouTube if you want to watch more of that. But that'll also help you how to deal with ranges in the system. So in the context of the new discussion board, it's going to be about conditional formatting. So, which is interesting because if I remember correctly, that used to be the original individual project number 2 for this class was about the conditional formatting. So anyways, just give some recommendations, some examples, how you do it, a couple examples, and obviously respond back to your fellow discussion board people so that you know what it is that looks like, so that you can get the best out of this. All right, I assume that you're seeing the PowerPoint package again. Can I get confirmation of that? Yes, good. Okay, excellent. So chapters 3 and 4 within the workbook itself, they talk to how to use the average and the sum commands and the count A command. So you can actually take spreadsheets and come up with summaries at the bottom of them in such a way that you can use it for determining totals, costs, helps you with training data. You can also do it for filtering purposes, freezing frames and whatnot. So examples of that, I'm going to then bring up Excel here briefly to show how to do some of that. So let me change my sharing. Okay. Of course. Because I didn't open this at the time. So I'm just going to try to do some of this real time based on what I intended to show. Oops. All right. So if I needed to do like a count A, right? I just wanted to give you this. This here tells me there's 40 rows of various years of information, right? So this count A told me there's 40 cells of data in this context. So if I increase this, see, I now have additional rows within the range, and you can actually double click this and it'll show you the range within the formula. But within this range, I now have a bunch of empty cells, but the results of my formula is still 40 because I only had 40 pieces of data. But if I add, say, 3 more pieces of data, then obviously it jumps up to 43 now at this point. So the count A formula tells you the number of non-empty cells at a given range. And in the context, if I wanted to use average, then I can go up there either calling it by A2, which is the specific cell, or I can give it by the A, whatever I want for the entire range, or I can do it manually. As I screwed that up. Say 50. Because of these additional cells, the average here, can't see what I'm doing. I'm not sharing the right screen. I thought I was sharing Excel. Am I sharing Excel now? Okay, let's screw it up. Okay, that's one of the things about jumping back and forth to Excel versus the PowerPoint packages. Sometimes you get the sharing to be messed up. All right, so like I said, in the context of an average, because I have empty cells here and numbers here less than, I get this average based on this range, which is A2 to A50. The count A, which is A2 to A50, is the range, is the entire set of cells that have numbers in them, hence 43. If I get rid of these guys going backwards, this drops to 40. My average goes up because of zeros. It's not counting. Well, it is counting the zeros there, but it's not counting the empty cells with count A, whereas the average, it is counting them as zeros in this context. If I then delete these cells, my ranges change by automatically within the formula. The same thing if I add a cell, my formulas would change here. So this goes for 42. I delete a line, it goes back to 41 in the cell in the formula. Now the average makes more sense because these are all year dates that it comes out to this, and the count A tells me there's only 40 cells of information. And if you want to highlight, you can also do this down here. It tells you the average down here in the corner is a temporary thing, the count, and it tells you the sum, which in this case is 80,746 because these are a bunch of dates combined together. That all makes sense? Now, say if I want to do conditional formatting, I could go over here, create a new rule from the selected range or selected cells. New rule. Yeah, there we go. Cells that contain, say, equal to, we'll make it equal to 2018. Format it so that I want it to be bold. I want it to be in yellow and fill in with a color of red. That makes this rule so that here, bam, suddenly 2018 now becomes conditionally formatted. So you can set up this, you can do it with numbers for dollar signs and whatnot. So, but the idea is that suddenly this whole area do one more just for the sake of humor. Every cell that contains text. So you can also do this with text, not just numbers, but I will also make it bold. I will also fill it in with purple and make the font color yellow so that anytime you see the word year in anything, you can also do it partial so that you can also do the setup so you can see make it very easy to catch with good logic. You can usually catch your eye on when things that matter. So if I need to insert a row, you can hit arrange, right click, insert. It will open this up. Like I said, it'll change the cell ranges here just fine. Same thing with columns. You can do the same here, so you can add data down the side. And for that matter, you can also spread a formula across as well. So that's pretty easy to do. When it comes to creating a table, let's go back to closing this particular spreadsheet out and opening something new.
Is she done?
Don't save that.
Huh?
Oh, really? Why'd you do that?
You take a toast to her, we're gonna finish it.
Okay. Go back to sharing.
I'm hungry. I get Pam on now.
Yeah.
Breakfast.
Okay.
Breakfast.
Okay.
Come and get it.
Okay.
Come
Okay, I'm gonna change my shirt.
So if I needed to make a table, I could say convert this to a table. Suddenly, let's go back and make this whole set of things. So if I do this, I could say type up here in the search bar table, format as table. I can give it a specific coloration if I want to. So it'll actually take the range, give it headers, this piece, and then it gives you filtering options too. So if I just wanted to see everything from introduction to IT, bam, I can do a quick filter on that and it'll tell me everything I need to know. If I just need to look at, say, 2020 data. So that's an example of how it's converted to a table. At this point, in a table, it also has some types of restrictions that you can have. For instance, okay, I was thinking, but you can anyway. You can make better use of manipulating data in this manner. So,
Yeah, I know.
all right. Moving on to one of the last two things I wanted to do today. Go back to sharing PowerPoint package itself. Hope this is all making sense and useful to you guys. Okay, you should be able to see the PowerPoint chart deck at this point. One of the questions I got was, what types of inputs are allowed into spreadsheets? Values are what goes into spreadsheets. I think the IntelliPath is giving you a wrong answer if you select values, and it's wanting you to require formulas. Technically, they are both valid, but values is really what's entered in the individual cells as a value. Formulas are used as within cells in order to take lots of values and do something with it. So the data themselves, to me, the correct answer is values. So anybody who has that and flags it so that I know, I will go ahead and fix it later. The video in Unit 2, I wasn't thinking about it. So in discussion board 2, there's a video that is related to your discussion board. It's worth watching. I also uploaded a M4A video or audio file that talks to previous stuff that also is my last course's information. So each of the 5 weeks, I took this video live chat and actually turned it into a text to an audio file and uploaded those previous class ones so you can have it as additional reference material too. So you have additional listening material if you want to. Additionally, how to do different headers in that. Well, I just showed you one example by making a table that had various formatting stuff. Another example is we're literally just manually put it in cells and color it the way you want to as headers. Or the third one, which I should have showed and I didn't. I'll just do real quick. All right. In your basic Excel spreadsheet, right? Say you have a couple of headers columns here, you can make these columns do whatever, right? There's this other feature, this little button down here, that turns this into something where you could say title of document, right? Or you could say, I think it's ampersand page bracket, where you can have another type of specialized formula where you could actually have this, and then if you go down here and then you type on the next page, it'll automatically start filling in the same kind of pieces there. So you can actually, so you can build yourself more report-like results within Excel too. So that's another example of doing headers. It's actually commonplace inside a military to do this and say document ID over here on this side. So that becomes then all your other things, pages all get formatted in the same way going down. So that's another example of how to do headers and footers. Same applies. There's also a footer here. You can say, yes, I'm showing my military knowledge here. CUI, controlled unclassified information. But that's an example how you can do headers and footers. You can make reports or printouts like this in documents in such a way within Excel as well. So, all right, that shows everything I had in the slide deck. The other thing I was gonna bring up was in the Muse website. Jumping over there to that now. Which is also in the oh, come on, show me the right stuff. Here we go. Share. If you go to the data manipulation side of Muse and you bring up this, you'll see this set for week 2. If you click on one of these icons, it'll bring up a video or some text you can read about how to do. So but like I said, this was an example of, they're going to show you in the video here how to do a table. So you can have this as a quick reference. Other than that, I'm just going to let this video run. And if there's no questions, then I will let the class be good enough for the class. So if you have a question, put it in chat, please. All right, beyond that, like I said, there's 8 different videos for different things you can do. You how to edit multiple spreadsheets at once, how you can do conditional formatting, how to create summary pieces. So all these are useful to better learn how Excel actually works. So with all that, thanks everyone. I hope you enjoy your day and do great work. Thanks.